Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. Things are complicated when it comes to Jonathan Kuminga, because he stated he wants more money than the Warriors are willing to pay. One solution would be to leave, and the Chicago Bulls are interested in Kuminga. While the Golden State Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga continue their game of chicken, the Chicago Bulls could be where the free agent comes home to roost. Don't dismiss Chicago completely as a future landing spot for Kuminga, the Stein Line insider Jake Fisher writes. The Bulls are projected to have significant salary cap space next summer, and there will be more teams compared to this summer's barren marketplace. Those are among the factors that have Kuminga's camp, I'm told, strongly considering the same route that Thomas went and accepting the $7.9 million qualifying offer from Golden State that expires October 1st. It's impossible to surmise when Kuminga will make his contract decision, and it remains possible though improbable that the Warriors will raise their offer, as the Bulls decided to do to retain Josh Giddey. However, with Fisher's latest report, there are two truths that become immediately clear. First, there still is no firm resolution for either Kuminga or the Warriors, although training camp is only weeks away. Secondly, Kuminga is likely leaning towards signing his $7.9 million qualifying offer and becoming an unrestricted agent next summer. Warriors RFA Jonathan Kuminga could still land with Bulls. There's always been a bit of irony in the idea of Kuminga landing with the Bulls, who have been linked to the 2021 lottery pick for months, given that Kerr has become a rival of sorts. Before the Beirut-born 59-year-old was on the sidelines coaching, he was a player. Drafted 50th overall in 1988 out of Arizona, Kerr lasted 15 seasons as an NBA guard, winning 5 championships. He played for 6 teams in all. Kerr's first season was spent with the Phoenix Suns. He was then traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Midway through his 4th season with them, he was traded to the Orlando Magic. Instead of re-signing with the Magic, he agreed to join the Bulls, where he would have his most memorable stint, largely due to the aura of NBA icon Michael Jordan. His time with Chicago wasn't to last forever, as he was traded to the San Antonio Spurs in 1999. His time with the Spurs was broken up by a single season with the Portland Trail Blazers, but he ultimately added 2 more rings to his collection in San Antonio. With that in mind, perhaps bouncing around the league has colored his perception of the situation with Kuminga. One team's castaway, another team's mainstay. Many point to Kerr's experience with title-winning teams as evidence that he knows what players are right for the job. However, he also has personal experience being shipped off by a dynastic squad. He felt what it's like to be traded by the team he was drafted by. He knows that just because one door closes, it doesn't mean another one won't open or be better to go through. Currently, his connection with Kuminga is patchy, at best. It may even remain that way. Nevertheless, it isn't the end of the world for anyone. The last word. About half a dozen teams are projected to have max or near max cap space next summer. The Bulls could be one such team. After all, they'll reduce their payroll by over $55 million with just the contracts of Nikola Vucevic, Zach Collins, and Kevin Huerter expiring. By that time, they'll also have a clearer picture of their frontcourt, particularly in terms of Patrick Williams and Matisse Buzelis's development. With that in mind, Williams is more seasoned and Buzelis is more confident, but neither have a double-figure scoring average. Though Kuminga clearly needs to refine his skills, he's at least capable of that. Over the past 2 seasons, the combo forward has averaged 15.8 points per game over the past 2 seasons. When playing for 30-plus minutes, he's averaging 20.8 points per game. Winning basketball games isn't that simple. However, just about every modern championship team has needed 2 or 3 players that can operate as a featured scorer. To that point, the Bulls don't want to keep their steady veteran scorer, Vucevic. The future of their number 1 perimeter scoring option, Kobe White, is now up in the air. Giddey has been re-signed, but he's a playmaker more than he's a walking bucket. So, despite the negative press he received last season, having a player like Kuminga on board could be key. Warriors set to grant Jimmy Butler his wish if free agency reports ring true. Jimmy's impact could become even greater. Jimmy Butler had an enormous impact on the Golden State Warriors last season, helping to take a below .500 team all the way to the second round of the playoffs before Stephen Curry's injury ruined any hope against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Butler's blockbuster arrival to the Bay generated improvement in a number of different areas, but it was the veteran's ability to uplift his teammates that was perhaps the most telling point from his start to life as a Warrior. Now Golden State appear to be doubling down on one of Butler's biggest strengths, potentially making for an even better version of the 6X All-Star as the franchise plots a path back towards legitimate title contention. The Warriors are set to surround Jimmy Butler with more shooting. Nothing defined Butler's ability to make his teammates better more than the contrasting shooting percentages of Golden State players pre- and post the February All-Star break. While the 35-year-old certainly brought an interior scoring and free throw threat that the Warriors desperately needed, his unselfishness was also fully on display, perhaps too much at times, in looking to find his teammates in drive and kick situations. Almost all of Golden State's key players saw a rise in their three-point percentage after the All-Star break. Given Butler's arrival happened shortly before, that can't be a coincidence. Leading snipers Stephen Curry, Buddy Hield and Quinton Post all saw an uptick in their three-point percentage to end the regular season, and so too Moses Moody until a thumb injury became problematic. The biggest improvement was found in left-handed duo Brandon Podziemski and Gary Payton II. The latter nearly doubled his percentage from 23.6% to 45% after the All-Star break, while Podziemski rose from 32% to 43.8% on over 6 attempts per game. Butler's effectiveness dwindled once Curry went down injured and his teammates started missing shots in the second round against the Timberwolves, but the Warriors appear to be addressing that by adding more shooting to the roster with their reported free agency moves. Al Horford will provide a spacing threat Golden State need to complement Butler and Draymond Green in the front court, while DeAnthony Melton is a noted 3-and-D specialist who shot 37.1% on nearly 6 attempts per game with the franchise prior to his ACL injury last season. One of Golden State's last roster spots could also go to either Seth Curry, who is 7th all-time in three-point percentage, or Malcolm Brogdon, who is a very steady 38.8% from beyond the arc during his 9-year career. The Warriors will certainly be granting Butler his wish by surrounding him with more shooters, allowing him to continue impacting the game and the team in ways far beyond his individual scoring ability. Former NBA champion with Warriors is still a free agent. NBA veteran Gary Payton II remains a free agent at this stage of the offseason. With training camp around the corner, it would be ideal for the 32-year-old to pick up a spot on the roster as teams start preparing for the 2025 to 2026 NBA season. Payton last played for the Golden State Warriors. That stint was one of many, as Payton has been on quite a few teams since landing in the league as an undrafted prospect in 2016. During his most recent run in Golden State, Payton appeared in 62 games. He started 11 matchups, averaging 15 minutes on the court. Seattle Storm vs. Golden State Valkyries game highlights. Payton produced 6.5 points per game, shooting the ball at a 57% clip from the field, and 33% from beyond the arc. Along with his scoring, Payton averaged 3 rebounds and 1.3 assists. Payton first landed in the NBA in 2016, going undrafted out of Oregon State. He started his journey in the NBA G League, playing for the Houston Rockets affiliate. In 2017, Payton signed with the Milwaukee Bucks. His rookie season included 6 appearances, with 16.5 minutes of action. After seeing the court for just 12 games during his second season with the Bucks, Payton was waived and eventually picked up by the Los Angeles Lakers. Being on a two-way deal, Payton split time between the NBA and the G League in South Bay. Payton didn't continue with the Lakers beyond 2018. As a young veteran, he attempted to crack the Portland Trail Blazers roster, but was cut after training camp. After spending some time in the G League, Payton had a small stint with the Washington Wizards. It wasn't until he landed a 10-day contract with the Warriors in 2021 that Payton found his most consistent stint. During the 2021-2022 NBA season, Payton spent 71 games on the court, seeing 17.6 minutes of action. He averaged 7.1 minutes per game, shooting 61% from the field. That year, the Warriors won the NBA championship. Payton appeared in 12 games during the playoff run. At 32 years old, Payton brings 270 games of experience to the table. He's made 56% of his shots from the field and produced 5.5 points per game throughout his career. There has been some smoke around a potential reunion in Golden State for Payton earlier in the offseason, but there could be other suitors out there as well. Former NBA champion delivers harsh criticism of Jonathan Kuminga over complicated situation with the Warriors. A former NBA champion commented on the situation between the Golden State Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga, delivering a reality check for the young forward ahead of the upcoming NBA season. One of the most complicated storylines of this NBA offseason belongs to the Golden State Warriors, who have yet to make any significant roster moves. Much of that inaction stems from the contract standoff with Jonathan Kuminga, whose situation continues to hang over the team's plans for the upcoming season. The Warriors remain under pressure to resolve this quickly if they want to shape the roster the way they envision. Former Oklahoma City Thunder center Kendrick Perkins has now weighed in on the saga, offering a blunt reality check for Kuminga. Perkins, who has become known for his outspoken takes, did not hold back while addressing the situation. His comments added even more intrigue to a story that already has fans closely watching Golden State's every move. Appearing on NBA Today, Perkins made it clear what he believes the Warriors really think of the 24-year-old forward. He said Kuminga should understand the message being sent by how the team has handled him. The former center didn't mince words in saying this is a sign that Golden State does not value Kuminga as highly as he may believe. "I don't know if Jonathan Kuminga watches NBA Today, but they don't want you, dog. They don't value you because if they did, you wouldn't be going through this. And it started last season. Steve Kerr showed you how he felt about you," Perkins said, making his stance perfectly clear on national television. It might be tough to build a lineup around Kuminga. Perkins referred to how Steve Kerr removed Kuminga from the rotation last season, even after he recovered from injury. Jimmy Butler's arrival further complicated things, leaving the 22-year-old struggling to carve out a regular role. Kuminga never truly settled back into a consistent place in the lineup, which has led to uncertainty about his long-term future. Golden State did experiment with a Butler-Green-Kuminga trio, but the results were far from encouraging. That combination posted a -24.9 net rating in the 38 minutes it was on the floor, a number that raised questions about its viability. Perkins argued that this is why the team is hesitant to commit long-term money to Kuminga.